So the party is now over. Everyone's gonna make that joke, but it's a fun joke to just make. It's both good and a bad feeling that Dororo has come to an end. It's good because it's a very satisfying and fulfilling finale. It's bad because no more parties on Mondays for this show. This show ended in a way similar to what I was thinking, but also completely different. Last week I mentioned two ideas of how this show I thought could end. One would be the kingdom as well as Hyakkimaru would burn and crumble, or possibly his real father would give his life possibly in a demon-like pack, but give up his own for someone else, kind of being a contrast to how the show first started. And the second one kind of is how it happens, but it's a lot more human, literally just burning alive, kind of atoning for your sins after saving who you view as your child in a very loving manner. Both the brother as well as the mother both going out because there's no real way to come back from what's happened. I thought was actually a very fulfilling end to a very painful but very rewarding journey that Dororo did take over 24 episodes. This is a show that has had so many ups and downs for its central character. Hyakkimaru has been lost in demonic rage, and it kind of looked like he couldn't come back. And the fact that he didn't kill his brother, the fact that he did stop himself after really recognizing what's happened, it's not like this just came out of left field. Like, literally, how many episodes has Dororo been saying, you are becoming a monster, you have to stop killing? It's no surprise that in the middle of seeing and hearing and just doing all these things that he came to the realization that his brother was no different than him, and if it wasn't for the demon saying, you have to keep killing, they might have both gotten out of that unscathed. I really enjoyed that conversation because it's very painful. You have a brother who his entire life grew up basically feeling like he was doing something wrong because his mother was only ever focused on a son that she never should have had according to the family. So you understand the jealousy and the rage and the hatred and how a demon can feed on that and really manifest into something incredibly dangerous. But the fact that he actually ripped out the eyes to give back to his brother in his dying moments there, but of course that's not going to be how demons operate. You gotta kill the head demon in order for him to regain those. It's just such a powerful sequence seeing just two characters who have been at each other's throats for so long, really feeling like for the first and only time and last time they would be able to have a brotherly bonding moment before it all went to shit. It's just powerful watching this building burn alive, where you have two characters who you kind of wish both could get out of this alive because they both made mistakes, but maybe they can have that better future. As the kingdom's burning around them, in comes the true mother and father. The mother, she did abandon and betray her son, but at the end of the day, when that baby was first ripped from her arms, she never wanted that. She cried and begged for that not to happen. She made mistakes, but at the end of the day, she wishes that she could have just held her son, both of them, in the way that they deserved. I thought it was a very powerful moment that not only did the mother return and give Hyakkimaru for the first and last time the love that he wanted from her, but also his true father was there, who has wanted to die this entire series, has done so many cruel and vile things and wishes he could just die, but he can't for some reason. And he finally has a chance to not only save his true son, but also give himself peace of mind and just wash away the sins. That is such a powerful sequence, and no one can deny that. You could easily say, why didn't they both just escape? Why didn't Tahu escape? But he became a demon. I don't think he could really come back from that. I don't think either of these characters, any of these characters, could come back from that because they've all done things, and at the end of the day, I don't think either one of them, even all three, including the brother, would want to carry on after everything they've seen and done. I think this is their satisfactory conclusion, and the only one who needed to escape those flames was Hyakkimaru. And the fact that Hyakkimaru didn't kill his father still ends up dying because he has wounds from the battlefield, but this is his true testament of how much he grew. People are going to say he should have killed him, but no, he shouldn't. He has so much blood on his hands, and for how long has characters been saying? From nearly day one, the priest has said, the more humans you kill, the more corrupt your soul will become. He finally has regained everything that was taken from him, and he doesn't kill his father. He says, you're human, I'm human, carry on as a human, don't make a pact with a demon. Because he has realized, he has grown up, he doesn't love this man, he doesn't want anything to do with this man. He probably recognizes that he's going to die very soon, but in your final moments, stay human and carry on. That's a super powerful moment because I thought he did kill him and I was like, oh shit, like that's not good. Like, even if he does deserve death, you shouldn't be the one to do that. He should kill himself, something like that. And the fact of the matter is, I was mentioning that if they did keep his father alive in last week's review, it would be such a poetic end for him if he had to watch his kingdom burn. And instead of doing that, I mean, technically he still watched his kingdom burn, but in his dying moments, he recognized that if he didn't make that deal, maybe his firstborn son would have been the ruler to save his land without a demonic deal. Not only does he have to die with the guilt of knowing that he failed as a ruler, he has to die with the guilt of a father realizing he betrayed his son for no reason and that this man was a better person than he would ever be. If that isn't a fitting end to a character who is just so horrible but also made for such a great story, I don't know what is. The two characters parting ways I think is going to annoy some, but I mean they do eventually meet up in the future. I actually think that's super fitting for what we've seen. I think for Dororo, she never would want to abandon Hyakkimaru after everything that's happened, but he's a character who has walked a very thin line between what it is to be human and demon, and even though right now, even though he didn't kill his father, even though he proved to himself that he is better than who he once was, and he's better than the people who made him suffer, he needs to find that out for himself. He needs to experience humanity for the first time. Like the priest says, he pretty much was just born. He has to experience life unfiltered and in his own way, in his own rules, not jump back into making a country with Dororo, just experiencing life. And as we can see at the end of the episode, with an older Dororo as well as an older Hyakkimaru, they eventually do meet up again, and they weren't going to part ways forever. They just needed to separate themselves for the time being, and they both accepted that. I think it's a super fitting and fulfilling journey that these characters went through. Hell, even before all that, you get a very fun action sequence, which you're kind of rooting for. You're like, oh yeah, kill your brother, Hyakkimaru, and then everything comes full circle. You're like, oh no, please don't kill him. Everything is way more complex than I was giving credit to, and similar to last week's episode, they really went loose with the line work. You couldn't even tell exactly if they were human anymore, which really lended to some pretty fun action sequences overall. But I just felt like with what the journey of Dororo was, is it was trying to tell you that technically sometimes there are lands that just can't be fixed. Like the lands couldn't be harvested, there was no rain, there was unnatural things that you just couldn't do. So this deal was made and everyone was prospering in these lands again. And it was just such a complex tale watching it all play out. But I think for every single character that was important, I think they ended up in a satisfactory place. You have Hyakkimaru who regained what was taken from him, but he actually was able to stay human in the end of it. Go on his own journey, find who he needs to be, and reunite with Dororo in the end. The fact that Dororo took that money and decided to build their own country. Not rely on samurai, not rely on wars. So what can you do if you're not relying on battles and wars? Well, you have money, and you could build something for the people, which is like you could see her being a great ruler, and with a right council, they could really do something special in a different area, saying screw Dago's lands, let's do something for ourselves. You have the mother who was such a complex character who obviously never wanted this, but had to play into the title of the Lord's wife, and just to burn for both of her sons is just so fitting. You have Tahoe, a man who you understand what led him to both be a really strong lord, but also one who was very just, I guess you could say ignorant, but also resentful for his brother because of how he was raised, being kind of just abandoned by his family, and you understand why that led to his death, but also you respect his decision to stick by his brother in the end based on everything that did occur. That even his real father just finally having peace. Like, this is the character who I was like, I don't want him to get out of those flames, because he's always wanted to die. He doesn't want to carry on with a journey with Hyakkimaru. He wants to die. That's what's always been his driving force, but he felt like he had to atone for his sins, so he didn't deserve that easy way out. But now he does have that easy way out, because he really did something that felt fulfilling to him. And even have the Lord of the Land realizing that he messed up, he made the wrong deal, and he betrayed the son he never should have. Like, it just feels so rewarding. I feel like MAPPA just delivered something that was so exciting. Like, I believe the original manga, the way it ends, is he doesn't have all of his body parts back. As well, they do separate in the end. MAPPA literally took a blueprint of a really solid story and just fleshed it out in an even better and more fulfilling manner. You really felt like 24 episodes is all this needs. Now, I have seen some people say like, oh, I'd want a season 2, see where it goes from here, or an OVA. I don't. I'm very, very fulfilled with 24 episodes. I feel like this is an open and shut story, similar to when I watched Samurai Champloo. I was like, I don't need any more. I am very fulfilled with what I just received. And I just love how they hit everything that I think they needed to in a final episode, because there was quite a few characters they needed to touch upon, and I thought they did a pretty solid job overall. This was the most intense, but also the only episode in this show that I can recall in probably a good 3 months where I didn't feel worried. And it was weird because I was watching these characters nearly kill themselves, but I was like, whatever happens, I'm ready for it. I'm not going to be upset with. And then to just see how all the pieces kept clicking more and more, I was like, okay, the brother's dying, but it feels like he kind of regained who he was in the end. wanting to give his eyes up. You see the real father, you see his adoptive father, you see the mother, you see where all the characters ultimately end up and why they parted ways and why they reunited in the end. It just feels like this is naturally what should happen from what we've seen over the past 6 months of Dororo. This was an incredible series. I said, I think it was last week, or maybe it was a couple of reviews before, I said that this would be a show that I'm never going to forget. It's going to be like one of the 5 or 10 anime that I just keep thinking about from time to time. I just can't get it out of my mind. What I wasn't expecting was to walk out of the finale saying it was one of my favorite anime of all time, but I'm definitely saying that now. I think this was a remarkable experience. There was a couple of hiccups. We have that one episode with a director who decided to be a little too artistic for his own good, and there is a couple of pacing issues here or there, but overall, I think what Dororo just told is so different than what you typically see, and it was just a memorable experience. I don't know how highly I'd rank it. I mean, my favorites list changes all the time, but still, like, this is definitely in a top 30 of some way, shape, or form, and I really enjoyed this series overall. It's one of Mappa's best, hands down. For everyone who did watch, though, what did you think of just where all the characters went? How did you think it was going to end? Did it match what you were feeling? Just let me know any of your thoughts on Dororo down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like and also hit that subscribe button if you have been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.